For this lesson, we are going to be using the converse of the Pythagorean theorem to determine what type of triangle is formed. So the Pythagorean theorem is really, when we're just talking about the Pythagorean theorem, it is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem is where you're just saying, you're right, it's listing it in a reverse order. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. It doesn't affect the outcome. But if we are given 3 lengths of a triangle, we're able to decide, is it a right triangle? Is it an obtuse triangle? Or is it an acute triangle? So if we get an equal sign on both sides of this equation, then we do know that we have a right triangle. If c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared, we have an obtuse triangle. If c squared is less than a squared plus b squared, we have an acute triangle. The first thing you need to do when we're looking at the 3 measurements they give us, we need to identify which is C, because C is always going to be, and this is important, the longest side. That is generally your hypotenuse if it is a right triangle. So in order to do this, first of all, you, of course, need to remember these 2 little inequalities, but we must identify the longest side. So I'm going to, of course, write the formula. C squared, I don't know what symbol's going to go in there, but I know I'm going to write a squared plus b squared. So now that I've identified my longest side, 9 squared, I do not know my symbol yet, and it doesn't matter what you call those. A or B. I'm just going to list them in order. So it's 6 squared plus 8 squared. Well, we should know that 9 squared, that's 9 times 9 is 81. And now here, and again, I don't know, 6 squared is 6 times 6 is 36, plus 8 times 8 is 64. Finally, I do see that I have an 81. And I know now that I'm looking at this, that adds up to 100. And we know that 81 is less than 100. So at this point, I could fill these in, or I don't even have to. But this is what's going to help me decide. So looking up above, we see that c squared is less. So we know that it is an acute triangle. All right, let's look at the second one. Again, I'm going to identify the longest side, and here it is, so that has to be my letter C. So again, I'm writing c squared. I do not know the symbol I'm going to put there, but it's a squared plus b squared. This is my C. It's 13 squared. Don't know my symbol yet. 5 squared plus 12 squared. 13 squared, I do know, is 169. I do not know my symbol yet. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 12 times 12 is 144. And when I add this together, I do get 169. And notice I had 169. And so we know that those are equal. And if they're equal, this is a right triangle. It's as easy as that. All right, let's try the last one. I have a 6, a 7 and 5/10. I could have something that's not a whole number, and a 10. So there is my letter C. Again, c squared, trying to decide on the symbol, is equal to a squared plus b squared. I'm going to substitute my numbers in. 10 squared, not sure of the symbol yet, is 6 squared plus 7.5 squared. Again, it doesn't matter the order that you write these or what you name them, but the C is the one that's important. So we get 100 here. Don't know the symbol yet. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 7 and 5/10 times 7 and 5/10 is 56, and 25 hundredths. So of course I have to add those two together. when I add them together, I get 92 and 25 hundredths. And remember, I had 100 here. So this is definitely greater. I look back up to my information and I have an obtuse triangle. All you need to remember is, first of all, you identify the longest side, but you need to know these two little inequalities that will help you decide what kind of triangle is formed. If this video was helpful to you today, please add a like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more Math with Marcia. See you again soon.